we're going to move right into our presentations. Dr. Shandor, accent on academics this month.
Thank you, Mr. Medford. For this evening's Accent on Academics, Bedtime Stories began as a spark and transformed into a mix of blended learning, family engagement, and fun with literacy. Students and parents in grades K-5 were invited to join Grafton Bethel teachers for cross-curricular activities from the comfort of their own homes via Blackboard Collaborate. Computers, tablets, and iPhones were used by the Grafton Bethel community to interact with each other and the presenter using Blackboard tools. Tonight, teachers, students, and parents will share how this idea has evolved into many opportunities for live interaction online. To share more about this presentation and introduce the students and other presenters is Ms. Lisa Ruffier, Grafton Bethel Elementary High School Principal.
Good evening, Chairman Medford, Vice Chairman George, board members, and Dr. Shandor. Representing Grafton Bethel Elementary, we have students, parents, and teachers. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your meeting tonight. We are proud to share with you how a spark became a fire through the collaboration and enthusiasm of our school community. It began with a spark in the spring of 2014. Bedtime Stories was launched through Blackboard Collaborate, and representing us today is Lauren Valcourt, a current 5th grader and bedtime story participant.
Here you see a copy of the flyer that came home to us students for Bedtime Stories. I thought Bedtime Stories were cool because it gave me something to do before bed, and in my opinion, was way more interesting than board games. It was the first time the school did Bedtime Stories, and it was an interesting opportunity. I attended the first night and thought, wow, so I attended all 4 nights. Now I will walk you through the Blackboard Collaborate window. In the upper left-hand corner is the video frame. It was cool to see the teachers reading from their houses. In the center, you see the illustrations on the whiteboard. Under the video frame is the list of participants. In this screenshot, there were 44. The actual number of households ranged from 14 to a whopping 76. And finally, the chat room. It was cool to see who was logged in, as well as my friends and classmates. Here are 2 comments. Mine was, "Here comes the good part." I had already read this really, really good book. Now let me introduce my dad, Michael Valcourt.
Good evening. Bedtime Stories was a very exciting event for our night, and for our family, we participated every night. There was a very festive air about Bedtime Stories, but it was also very casual because you could watch in your PJs. My son watched from one room on the desktop, and my daughter watched from a bed with a laptop. So it was a very good event. It was a lot of fun. Our family enjoyed it, and to get a sense of what it was like for another family, we have a short video to show.
Be your friend, green crayon.
Yellow.
Dear Duncan, yellow crayon here. I need you to tell orange crayon that I am the color of the sun. I would tell him, but we are no longer speaking. And I can prove I'm the color of the sun too. Last Tuesday, you used me to color in the sun on your Happy Farm coloring book. In case you've forgotten, it's on page 7. You can't miss me. I'm shining down brilliantly on a field of yellow corn. Your pal and the true color of the sun, yellow crayon.
An all-time favorite of Dr. Guy, that book. So you see the spark is now aflame due to the community feedback and interest of others. Karen Williamson, 3rd grade teacher and catalyst for the next step.
So we started hearing that 3rd grade parents had concerns for their first-year children taking SOLs. And so based on our positive experience from Bedtime Stories, we thought this would be an appropriate venue. We sent a parent survey home to 3rd grade parents to collect to see if they had interest in this. What we thought was we found a unique opportunity. We considered a dual effort because in this picture you can see that the 3rd grade teachers are presenting and answering questions in the computer lab and at home via the Blackboard Collaborate. We were also happy to share that the technology enhanced instruction, because then the parents could see that a lot of the tests you have, drop and drag and multiple choice questions also. So throughout the night, we were able to entertain questions from the room and at home via this chat room. And then when we asked the parents what they thought about this venue, there were some of the responses. They were very pleased.
Fast forward to 2014-2015. In the fall, teacher and students inquired, when will we get to do bedtime stories again? The kindler of our flame, our ETF, Carrie Mokry, has some exciting news.
Our logins for the 3 nights ranged from 28 to 78 households for the second edition of Bedtime Stories. And although our teachers instinctively, with the first edition, included instructional strategies for this second go-around, we purposefully tied more interaction into this, and we used a cross-curricular approach with our stories. So as you see here, we kicked off with Mrs. Ruffier and a science-related story. Here we have Mrs. Omweg, who had an opportunity to build background knowledge and review social study skills with her stories. And here we have Mrs. Williamson, and she was providing verbal feedback to the students as they practiced their multiplication skills during this story about math arrays. And I would like to draw your attention to the participant room. Our very own Dr. Shandor logged in that night, and I can tell that he was using his telephone, and he participated in our chat, and I think that that's amazing because that was one of your first days here in York County, and I believe this was one of your first interactions with the Great Grizzlies of Grafton Bethel.
Every jammies on?
Yes, they were Pittsburgh Steelers jammies. Thanks, guys.
We knew that was coming.
You can see how our flame is now blazing. Teamwork feeds the fire and keeps it burning. Instruction, visuals, and modeling create a mix for this intensity. I'd like to introduce Michelle Hayes, a 4th grade teacher with a passion for innovation.
Our GBE Math Academy took our model of our bedtime stories to the next level. We flipped the classroom. We chose we had topics chosen for this hour session, and they were based on student needs. As you can see, the numbers speak for themselves and for the student engagement. We offered 2 nights for maximum participation. Wednesday night we had 78 online, and Thursday 62 we offered online and at the school, the GBE site. And we have 112 students, so you can see that some students actually logged in twice. And here we have the teachers participating, the 4th grade teachers. You can see that they were clearly engaged, enthusiastic. There are 5 of us, plus 2 special ed teachers, our dedicated ETF, who was behind the scenes keeping us on target. 3 of us had participated in the bedtime stories, and that didn't stop us. We said, yes, we can do this, and we did, and we are hoping to do it again. And I will turn it over to GBE Math Academy graduate, Justin Yu.
When I heard about this, I thought, not a bad idea. When I logged in, I did not expect so many students. The breakout sessions were a great review, and Math Academy was awesome and fun. Let me break down the hour for you. This graphic shows you that the Math Academy was similar to Bedtime Stories with whole group activities. What was really different were the breakout rooms, geometry, and decimals. When it was time for breakout rooms, kids moved themselves out of the main room in the breakout rooms using the directions that are shown here. My fellow 4th grader, Max, will tell you more about the breakout rooms. In this picture, you see that the decimals breakout room using the whiteboard, audio, and the chat room. Our teachers reviewed rounding decimals. The students recorded their answers on the sheet of paper the teachers gave us at school. Eventually, we learned test-taking strategies like slash the trash. Eventually, we switched into other breakout rooms. These pictures show you what the students were seeing at home. This student is responding to pattern questions on his mobile device. He does not see Mrs. Hayes, but he hears her and can participate in the chat room. I attended Math Academy on both nights. That is me and my mom in the photo. When I first heard about Math Academy, I thought I've never done this before. It is cool to try something new. If the teachers offered something like this again, I would love to join and learn on computers at home.
This campfire shows many members enjoying marshmallows over a flame. Our fire is spreading too. In-house, our special education teachers deliver remediation weekly. We will have another bedtime story planned, and other schools have learned of this idea through an ETF meeting, and they are beginning to plan and actually implement bedtime stories, even on snow days. As you've seen this natural progression from spark to flame, we've accomplished much more than we've ever imagined, reaching more families, more students, engaging school community, and loving the interactive learning. These are elements that describe our humble beginnings of bedtime stories and beyond. Now, a transformative flame not only meets our goals for school improvement, but it is part of the YCSD strategic plan. Have we left you wanting s'more?
That's great.
I don't even know where to start with the comments. I mean, for the students involved in this presentation, wow.
And parent.
Oh my gosh, and to the parent and the staff. I know personally when things like this, well, we as a board, when we hear when we get the accent on academics, we get a taste of what's really happening inside our walls and our buildings. And my question was going to be, are we sharing this with other schools? And obviously you answered the question before I could ask it. So very well done. Just wonderful idea and how it's growing. So congratulations. I mean, y'all are onto something that other school districts around should be. Maybe we can sell it, patent it, and sell it.
We actually plan to present this at an upcoming conference. We're getting ready to apply for that.
Very good outreach. Very good.
The students, you guys did a wonderful presentation. It's very, very well done.